So today we'll be rating all of the Yamato icons. We'll be rating these icons by this tier list with S, A, B, C, D, F. I don't want to waste all of your time, so let's just go right into it. I'll mostly be ignoring colors for this rating and just how the icon generally looks, and be giving a few opinions on it, but it won't be too long of an opinion because some of them are pretty straightforward. Okay, so the first icon I think is pretty straightforward. It's rather basic, but it is an undebatable solid icon, so it's definitely going in B tier. This is definitely a bit slightly better, but I think it's in equal regards to the icon. This icon does improve quite a lot, and it is very satisfying to look at. And it's probably one of the best icons in the game, but I don't think it's quite S tier, so I'm definitely keeping it in A tier. It's a really good icon nonetheless. The same goes for this icon that really looks like a better version of this icon, simply because the rectangle mouth looks more clean cut. So I think this is definitely going probably in almost B tier, but low A tier. Its icon always looks kind of weird. I don't know anybody that uses this unironically. So I think it's not a bad icon. It just doesn't look good in general. So I just put it in D tier. I'll be putting it in there. This one looks some. It looks a bit better than this icon, but it doesn't look like B tier material in my opinion. So I think it's a solid C tier. This one as well. It feels like it could be D tier, but I think it's the the little rectangle in the middle plus the weird kind of jaw-like shape definitely gives it something going for it. So I think it's a rather average icon. This one is quite good. It's not very easy to find good colors for it, but it is still very solid. So I'm giving it a B tier. This one looks like a better version of this one, simply because it has the rectangle, but it's horizontal rectangle instead of vertical, and the bottom is more defined. Looks like a squid, like a octopus. It looks rather solid in my opinion, so I think it's gonna going in B tier. This one looks rather weird to be an icon, and honestly, I could probably put it in D tier because I don't find anybody using it. It just looks rather odd, and I don't think Raptor should really. Most of the icons have like two eyes that are like besides these two, usually look weird simply because of the complexity of the bottom layer, the mouth section of the icon. This icon is more solid than probably this one and maybe even this one. It has an expression. It's not too complicated, but it also keeps things simple. So I quite like it. I think it's rather solid icon. The only thing I don't like is just the weird blocky retro style. But if you like that style, then that's okay. It's a rather solid icon though, so I'll keep it there in B tier. This one's probably high B tier, almost A tier. So yeah, I'll put it in A tier because it is just a very solid icon. I think it's from Sub Zero, and it's definitely really an interesting contender. It looks really good. The triangles fit really well, and it definitely gives me that Sub Zero feel. Maybe because I unlocked it when I was playing Sub Zero, but nonetheless, I think it's rather good and satisfying to use. Albeit I don't use it for a long time, and I haven't used it for a long time, but it does look really satisfying. So I think I'll keep it there. This one is a rather meek icon. It has not a lot of things going for it. It does have some symbolism in the community, but I don't think really it's a good icon design wise. So I think it's also going in D tier. This one looks good, but the squares feel a bit too big. And just five squares mushed together makes the icon feel like it's a lot of a larger hitbox than it should actually feel to be. So I'm not sure if it should be B tier or C tier, but I'm gonna be generous and give it a B tier. This one looks slightly better than this one, in my opinion, because it has a rhombus kind of diamond-like center instead of just a copy-pasted square on a different layer of the icon. So I think it does have a bit more charm to it than the previous one. So maybe I'll be moving this one down to C tier simply because they feel like they should be on their own separate list, and this one doesn't feel high enough to be an A tier icon. So yeah, this is definitely a really solid icon. It has a glow. It has glow and looks even better than this one. So I think, in my opinion, this is just a really, really solid icon. The little lightsaber like lines and then the rectangles crossing across. It really looks quite satisfying. The glow feels well executed. It's not a bit overdone. It's just very solid icon. Design wise, it just looks so good. This one feels like it's just an edited version of this one, and it definitely takes it for the worse. It looks worse than probably this one, simply because it just feels It just feels unsatisfying to play with or even look at. So I think it might even be going to E tier simply because it just looks very unsatisfying, in my opinion. I don't think it's really necessary to even have this as an icon because I don't think nobody wanted such a weird segmented icon. If you use this icon, then I guess it's okay, but I don't really like at all the way it just copies this one and just tries to add a bit more complexity by making it worse. Although, yeah, definitely going in A E tier for me. Again, the two eyes doesn't really work after these two icons. These are at least the square ones because this rectangle one looks great because it's a more original version of this one. But this one still looks rather bad. It looks rather blocky and the mouth feels segmented. I think it's still low D tier, almost E tier. This is a okay icon, I guess. It doesn't look bad, but it looks kind of weird because it feels as if it's just squares on squares on squares on squares. If you look closely enough, it just looks like there's squares on the edges and squares that hide behind those squares, and in the center there's like a square in the middle and squares that hide behind that square that interlock the other squares. So it doesn't look very good. It feels as if this one's for this one and this one is for this one. So I think it's going in C tier right below its counterpart. It doesn't look bad. It just looks kind of weird. I'll put it right here, right in between this one, because I think this one looks slightly better. This icon right here does not look bad, but I don't think it's a good icon simply because it kind of feels a bit too um unsquare like. It feels as if it's just trying to be a circle but also trying to be retro style, but also trying to be a square. And it just doesn't really work in the end because it just feels rather forced for an icon set. It does not look bad, so if it's going in C tier, yeah, I think it's not bad enough to be in D tier. I think it's gonna go in C tier, but it does look rather retro and circle like, and that's a bit too much for an icon because it doesn't really. It tries too much to be square and also a circle and also retro like. I just don't think that works out well for it in the end. This one looks slightly better simply because of its design. It messes with triangles and squares, and the squares are also rather detailed. So I think this is probably the best C tier so far. It just looks solid, better than this one in my opinion. It looks rather well built and complemented. This is a pretty darn solid icon, although it does feel kind of it lacks texture visually and feels a little bit pale. But design wise, it looks rather good, satisfying to look. It's complicated, yes, but it's not too bad for an icon. So I think this is definitely going in high B tier. It just feels solid. It feels really I don't know how to explain it. Like a clock with squares on the outer section. It's like a circle with squares But it can also be interpreted as, I guess, like a square with squares with squares with squares. But the squares change sizes, and there's also triangles in the middle of the squares, and there's different colors in alternating inside of the center. So it just feels really, really well made. This icon looks bad. It should theoretically work, but it just feels way too blocky and way too empty, and it just feels rather weird because it feels like you're playing with like a texture pack of an icon. This one, honestly, I think this is like D tier. It's a bit better than this one because it has a bit more complexity, but I still think it's rather bad. It's not well made. This icon does look rather sharp and pointy. It doesn't look bad, but I think it's probably like maybe C tier because it's satisfying to look because it doesn't have a lot of color changing and alternations, but it's not a very good icon design wise. It just feels somewhat it could be improved, or maybe this is just the most you can improve this icon in particular. There's no other iteration. I think it's also a pretty solid reasoning to why it's not that high on the list. It just feels like it's just the maximum it can be is like C tier. It's not good enough to be B tier because I'd rather use this icon than use this icon, or this icon than use this icon. But it's mainly because these two and all of these look more satisfying to play. Although I definitely feel like it's gonna be somewhere in between this one, yeah, like that, in this order. This icon actually feels rather well made. What is it? I think it looks like, yeah, like this one, like the one I just used. It looks like that one, but it has a rather different feel, and it feels rugged. You know, like vegetation, like you can see, like the grass is cutting in, and it feels rather sharp and wild, but in such a satisfying way. I don't want to look at it too long because I'll become biased and I'm rating higher than I should be. But I think it definitely a B tier, a solid icon nonetheless. Probably around here, maybe even here. Probably, yeah, probably here. You know, I'm just gonna leave it there. I don't want to make it higher than that because really, I might be getting a bit biased because the more you look at this icon, the better it looks. And the more you notice a bit some of the details that you might want to make it higher for. But really, in a fair list, that's probably the order that I rate it in. This icon feels good, but also kind of bland. I don't think it's very good as an icon. It's definitely quite better than this one. Well, not better than this one. So I think it's gonna go in between these two, right in the middle. It feels like it's the in between of these two, or maybe this one as well. This icon looks really, really good, in my opinion. It just looks like a solid icon. It's definitely the worst of the A tier, but it looks really good. I think this is the one with the glow. If that's the one with the glow, then I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, if it's the one with the glow on the glow looks really, really good. You can complement a lot of colors with glow, which is why I think glow works well when it's used in like line segments, like this icon, for example. So I think that icon is definitely an A tier icon. It's definitely quite satisfying to use. This feels weird for me to rate because it looks like it's not really an icon, but it is. So I guess I have to rate it around in between this and C tier probably. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look great either. It's like a rather average looking icon. So I think I'll rate it right around here probably. It looks better than these ones, but I don't think it looks better than these two. So I think it's gonna rate it right there, simply because it just looks kind of like a, um, how do I say, like a spinning sort of icon that makes you feel like a mirage, probably like an illusion, like a portal. That's what I'm trying to articulate here. It looks like a portal, like a spinning vortex, and that doesn't look bad, but it's also kind of hard to keep track of when you're playing. So I don't think it's that good of an icon. Design wise, it looks pretty good, well made because the shapes are pretty well balanced, the triangles, but it's not the best icon. So I'm gonna rate it right there, right where it is. This icon looks rather interesting simply because it feels detached enough to feel detached when playing, but also not far enough so that it feels like it's different, it's totally different thing. You still feel like it's an icon and it's definitely solid, but it doesn't look like it's together in a sense. So it does look rather well made. I think it's C tier. No, B tier. I think it's B tier because it looks good and satisfying to look at, but it's not the best icon. If you're gonna rate right in between here, yeah, it's probably this. It's probably in B tier. I think this one looks better, but design wise, it just feels like a clockwork, inner clockworks with two triangles on the edges on each edge. It looks good if you match the colors correctly, especially this little dark spot here in the center. Again, it kind of alternates, and that gives it a really uh, satisfying feel to it. But I don't think it's a good enough feel for me to rate it an A tier, simply because it just feels rather simple and maybe a bit meek. This one always looks like a target to me, and I can't tell why. It's not a bad icon, but it's not a great icon. So I think I'm gonna put it in the bottom of C tier. It just looks kind of bland and empty, not very original. I'm not forgetting why we use this for too long. It just feels rather uninteresting as an icon. There's really nothing, not a lot to say about that one. It just looks like a I don't know, a bullseye symbol. This one looks good, but it feels too much like a triangle, in my opinion. Like triangles are good and usually very good. For example, this Sub-Zero icon looks great. The integration of triangles is really well done, but this one just feels a bit too much like it's trying to be a triangle icon and not a square cube icon. It just doesn't feel correct, in my opinion. To me, it just feels rather weird to look at. It's not about icon color wise because you definitely have a lot of um, customizability and versatility you can use to change and customize this icon to what you want it to look like. But it's rather simple, and although it's one of the better, simpler looking icons in the C tier, it doesn't look like it's a good icon in general. So I think I'll be rating it in C tier just because of those reasons. This icon looks good, but it doesn't look anything special. I don't think it's good enough to be in. Yeah, probably a C tier here. Probably like in between. Looks better than this one because it has like a bit of like a star and some circles instead of some squares. It looks kind of the polar opposite of this one. And it definitely looks better, but it still doesn't look good because it's kind of the same style. So I don't think it's any higher than that. This icon looks rather empty, in my opinion. It doesn't look anything noteworthy or interesting. It just looks like your average icon, probably in D tier, but the higher D tier icon probably. This icon is actually pretty good. I think I'll be rating it B tier, honestly. It's Nexus's icon, I think, and it looks really good in my opinion, but it could definitely be a bit better because the center feels a bit off to me. It definitely does it a favor that it has some complexity and just four squares. You can see that it has actually some like edges and a bit of a curve in the edges of the triangles in the center. But it's not the best way it could be. It's definitely a solid, and the triangles definitely look really good, achieving sort of like a vortex feel like this one. But it doesn't look like it's too heavy, because this one feels a bit too heavy. This one feels like it's the perfect amount of vortex and also empty space to leave you to let you feel like the icon is a character or your icon customizable. Oh my god, customizable, and not something that's like a I don't know, like a sack of weight that you're carrying around. So it feels a lot better than this icon simply because it just balances the empty spaces and the vortex feel rather well. So I think I'm gonna be rating it a bit around here. It's definitely one of the better icons of B tier, in my opinion. It looks quite solid. This icon, I don't think this one has glow, but if it does, I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna rate it if that it does have glow. I'm gonna like a in between, really, just so I don't get biased. I do like icons with glow, but I do know when to say that when an icon with glow looks bad. This one looks C tier ish, maybe high C tier, probably around here. I'm not sure if it has glow or not. Probably around here, C tier, because the lines are kind of empty, and if it doesn't have glow, then it definitely should be a bit lower. But I'm gonna keep it there because if it did have glow, it would probably be around a bit here. So I'm gonna keep it there just in case it has glow. If it doesn't, then I'll just keep it there because honestly, I don't want to have to change everything in the list. I will do a little round later of changing, maybe in another video. But I definitely feel like this is probably the most you can accomplish with a balance of between. This is like 5 lines. Yeah, 5 lines. And this is probably the best you can do with 5 lines for an icon, honestly. So pretty good with the material you got to work with. And pretty good versatility too. This icon feels rather weird because it feels like it's just a copy of the same thing twice with a little center design in the middle. Doesn't look bad, but doesn't look great either. So I think it's gonna go around in between here. One of the worst icons in the C tier. Should probably be even it could even be D tier, but I think it does have something interesting in the center, so I'm probably gonna put it there. This one looks better than these most of these icons, in my opinion. Probably around probably here. It just look good in my opinion because the triangles and the edges, the it feels like a cog wheel on the center, and it definitely feels like a machine icon of some sort. But it's not too much of a machine icon that annoys me. It could probably be a better icon, but it's still a pretty good icon in my opinion. This one looks really weird. It just does. Just I don't like the little top, and the mouth looks kind of weird. Again, the main pattern is that anything with these two eyes that are squared and with a kind of original looking mouth is probably gonna fail simply because it just looks rather weird. This one as well. I think this one's the first F tier, honestly. Simply because it just looks bad. It may be. It's probably worse than this one. Honestly, it just looks bad. And this is like press on the eyes and like a bit like a more retro-like feel. It just feels like something you'd enjoy if you were like a '90s retro game character. But it's like a Martash Cube, and it looks kind of weird with the rugged feel and look. This is a pretty solid. This used to be my icon back in the day. I think it's a pretty solid icon. Probably like C tier, not high C tier. Probably around here. Yeah. Put it on there. I used it simply because I like the diamonds and triangles on the edges, and it wasn't too complicated. I could keep my eyes on it, and it felt kind of like a toy, in my opinion. You don't like plastic feel. So I think it's definitely one of those icons that I don't have a lot to say about, but because it just looks like it explains itself. It's just the diamond look with an outline on the back and some triangles on the edges. It's rather simple but effective because it doesn't have a lot of curves or edges, and it feels solid, a really solid icon. So well done for Robs, a well made icon, well designed, not good enough for B tier, not good enough to be higher than that because the design is still a bit bland and simple, maybe a bit meek even, but I think it's good where it is, in my opinion. This icon probably C tier. The execution is good, but the concept could probably be something better, honestly. I think it's like around maybe even better than around maybe around here probably. I think C tier is probably C tier is definitely gonna be the one that has the most, simply because C tier is the average, so most icons are gonna be average, of course. But this one's definitely not bad because this is the concept. It's just not very It's kind of So I guess it's gonna be like that. This icon looks kind of weird in my opinion. It doesn't look bad, but it looks weird to be an icon because it just feels too compact. Again, it just these types of icons feel heavier usually because they feel too compact, and there's just not enough breathing space inside of the icon. Maybe if this center were like empty, maybe then it would be a better choice for an icon. But right now, it just looks too solid, too compact. This is a solid icon, not a good icon, but a solid icon. It doesn't look very satisfying. I think it's almost D tier, honestly. But it's just two eyes again. The mouth definitely feels a bit more original. in a good way because these are original, but they try too hard to be original. But this one feels like a pretty decent iteration of the mouth feel, and it doesn't feel too far off from what could be this one. So I think it's being a low C tier one. The better cousin of this icon, the circly eyes are original, and it also changes the mouth quite a lot. Maybe even someone could say better than the other one. So I think this one's probably like around here in terms of icon. Like it's pretty good. It's a good icon. It's solid. It has the two eyes, but it has a bit of a change here in the top and the bottom. Feels different, but still together connected because of the mouth. The circles are original. It's just an overall solid icon. This icon definitely. This is a controversial pick, but I don't like this icon that much. Simply because it just looks kind of weird. Like one eye bigger than the other. It's not a bad icon. It's in the top tier, D tier, but I don't like it in general. This icon is good, but not great. It is definitely the beginning of better icons, but it's not a great icon. It feels good. Definitely feels good. And it's probably a good icon to play with simply because of the fact that it just looks solid. The gray background is new, and this little center thing with these simple looking edges are well implemented, well built. Opto knows how to make his icons, and you definitely learn how to do that better later in the updates. But it still feel like it's not the best icon it could be. It's really C tier, and I think C tier icon. This is a real good icon, solid icon. It looks weird probably to me because I don't use Steam. I'm an iPad player. But looking at it, it looks good. So I think I'm gonna be rating it right around probably maybe right around here. Probably it looks better than this one. So yeah, I think it's a solid icon. The cogwheel, the connected Steam symbol, and this machinery looking like mouth is good, and it's kind of an original take on the ever so original two eyes system. But I think it's good. So I'm gonna put it against it here. This is a good icon, but not to play with. It sucks to play with. It's good looking, definitely. It's good art, absolutely. But it's not fun to play with at all. It just feels too heavy. It feels too compact, and it feels like the cut off from being an actual art. So I think it's only gonna go in top, around there, D tier. This icon's also D tier in my opinion. I don't think it looks good. It just looks kind of weird and empty. It's a very simple icon. Maybe that's why some people like it. Maybe I understand some people have some appeal to this, but I personally don't think it's good. It's definitely better than these ones because it's empty. You don't have a lot to hate, but it's still empty, so I don't like it. This one again looks kind of weird. This one's a C tier, probably like around here, C tier, but I just don't like it. It just looks so weird to play with. The circle is just too big compared to these kinds of circles. It's too big of a circle for an icon. It's a good art, but it's not a good icon in my opinion. This Iron Man icon again, it feels like a D tier, probably top D tier, probably better than probably the Mario one, but still, it just look kind of. I mean, it's cool, having an Iron Man icon and all that, kind of like creeper icon. But these ones are definitely more artistic, and I understand they have an artistic value to them, but as icons, they're just not good. Maybe this one's a bit satisfying, but I'll keep it in D tier simply because it's just not good as an icon. Simply because it just looks weird. It feels weird to play as a square Iron Man. It just doesn't feel like it should be in the game. It's cool that it is though. It's definitely good art as a value. This one is a C tier icon. Probably better than the creeper one because it just looks better. And the tongue is really an original thing. I think this is the first time the tongue appears in the entire icons that we've gone through. So really original. The squares are a bit bigger than the other ones, and it has some gray in the background instead of just some white. So it definitely helps the tongue feel separate from the back of the mouth. So yeah, good icon. Not very complicated, not very solid, but still a good icon nonetheless. This icon is kind of a bipolarity for me. I think it's really weird. It can either be D tier, E tier, or C tier. It can be any of these three. It's just so weird of an icon. Like the guy's frowning. He's like, I don't even know what to say of this one. I guess I'm gonna put him in D tier simply because it's the middle of the three choices that I think he could probably be in. I'm gonna put him like around here. Let's see. I don't really have a strong opinion on this icon in particular. It just feels rather weird of an icon to me. So I hope that's okay. I just don't think it's a really a really particular icon that I have a strong opinion about. Although I don't have a strong opinion about some of these icons as well, but I know generally just by the looks of them. I just don't know what this is. It just feels weird to me because I have no idea what that is. So yeah, this icon looks kind of weird. Too solid. Definitely a better counterpart to this monstrosity, but it's still not good. Probably better than this one though. It just looks kind of weird, just being a full icon with just it looks like it could be part of an icon that has that kind of pattern, but it just isn't for some reason. It was a bit overused, so I think it's like bottom C tier, probably like a bit higher than the Shy Guy one. But it's still good. The art is good, appreciable. It just looks kind of weird and empty. It's definitely a good icon because it has different shades and black, and white. But yeah, not a very original icon. I don't think it's to be inherited in the C tier or inherited where it is. This one's actually kind of solid and probably the only good art icon. Maybe not the only good one. Probably another good one that I missed. But I think it's probably like around here in terms of good, how good it is. It looks good. It looks satisfying. A simple Batman icon. And there's another one coming up, but yeah, I think this one looks kind of cool. It just looks nice to look. It's not very complicated like these ones, like the Iron Man one. It doesn't feel like it has like a too much of an inner because it still feels like an icon. It still feels like a mask. This one looks like it has like the icon is actually the backdrop, and the actual part of the icon that looks like an icon is the mask, which makes it the icon feel not like an icon because the mask is not an icon. But here, the icon looks like an icon, and the actual art looks like it's front of the it's the details of the icon. So feels more like an icon, which is why I like it more. Next up is this weird thing. Never played with it, so I have no idea exactly where it should be. But I think it's not good. It doesn't look good artistically. This looks weird. So I'll be putting it around here probably. Probably looks like it could be maybe yeah, probably just here in between these two. It looks a bit better on this one, but not good enough to be top this one, in my opinion. Right, the better Batman icon. I know I said that was probably the best Batman icon, but this one is actually really solid. Unless you use an ugly color, this can actually look good, kind of easily. So definitely putting this one in around B tier. It just looks good. Finally, we're back up to the higher tiers because it's been a long time. Yeah, this one looks good. It looks kind of decent, better than this one, honestly, because the smile gives it more personality. This is the OG Batman icon. This one looks a bit more like a more complex Joker Batman mesh, but it looks better. The mouth just looks better. It gives it a better feel, and the eyes have more detail and feel more like eyes and face than mask. So it makes it feel more human, and thereby I think it's better as an icon because it just looks more like something that you can actually use seriously. It doesn't feel like it's something too annoying or cliche because it has depth and character to it, and that's what makes you feel attached to the icon. Next up is this icon. This icon's probably C tier in my opinion. So, and this is Colin's icon, I think. Um, I don't think I know. It's called icon. I'm just saying I think it's in case, anyways. So, this icon, it's not a good icon. It's a D tier icon. No, it's not a C tier icon, but it's not a good icon nonetheless. It's probably better than this one. Okay, probably better than this one. Probably better than this one. Yeah, like there, perfect, perfection. There is probably the perfect spot in between this one and this one because it looks good. The teeth look good and it looks like something you play with, but it feels a bit overbearing sometimes if you play with it too long. So it's something for somebody like Cullen that doesn't play Yamacha a lot. Oh boy! I know this is kind of the point, and it's not meant to be good to look at, but it's so goddamn hard to make this icon look good or feel good to play with, unless you're playing with it ironically, in which case, I mean, you're a memer, I guess, but you know, just not a good icon. Probably, maybe even F tier, probably F tier, probably the worst icon. This is also a bad icon. It's not original. It's a meme. I know it's not meant to be original, but you know, I'll put it. I was gonna put it in F, but I'm gonna use respect and put it in E. This one looks like a solid icon, but not a good solid icon. So I'm probably gonna put it in high around here, D tier. This one looks like a shy guy version, just a bit different, you know, a bit alternated. Probably this one looks better because this one looks like a ripoff, but it just doesn't look good on the last icon either way. So maybe ripoff. I think this one looks better in terms of artistic value. I'm gonna put it like a high D tier. Yeah, high D tier. This one looks good. It's a solid icon, but still like probably like D tier, honestly. Most of these are all like the D tier because they're from like Meltdown, I think. This one in particular, I think is Meltdown. Yeah, like D tier, like right in between. Probably like yeah, probably below these ones are there. This pirate one looks good. C tier, definitely, but it just not a solid icon in general. Probably gonna build in like just a lot. There's beginning to be a lot of icons here. I gotta think more of the placement because I want this to be in order. This one. Bottom tier to up tier. Well, it's gonna be like bottom, like around. It looks better than this one, definitely. This one looks like the D tier, low though D tier, but D tier nonetheless. C tier, C tier, C tier. My God. Um, Batman ripoff. It looks kind of bad though, so I'm gonna put him in. The effort is appreciated, but it just doesn't look good. High D tier, honestly. This one looks trash. Honestly, it just looks so weird. This one looks kind of like this. So no. This one looks decent, but it just feels kind of creepy in a way. Like the mouth is sealed shut. So I don't think I really like that as much as I should. This one looks better than this one, and better than this one, this one, and this one. But it's still not good. Probably the best, really, no spaces iteration of the icon that you can do. But still, I think it's probably like around here in terms of size. Yeah. This icon is good. It's not a bad icon. It has some empty, has a tongue. The tongue is also a good addition. But it's not solid. So I'm gonna rate it probably around here. Actually no. Most of the pool. This one looks like a rip off of Colon's icon. It's kinda weird, honestly. So I'm gonna put it in like a D tier. Probably like bottom D tier, like around here. Oh yes, this icon. It looks kinda creepy. Just big eyes. It looks goofy in a way. Probably gonna rate him like what's C tier? Low C tier. Around here. Probably like over here, probably better than this one. Not better than the Batman. Yeah, here. This is good. This is brilliant. This is a really good icon because it's the first icon that looks to the right. I can't believe it took Raptop so much to realize that that the icons can look in directions. Because this icon looks really well. It just feels original. It doesn't feel it doesn't feel too complicated, but it doesn't feel too empty. So I think it's really goes beat here. A very solid icon indeed. Probably gonna be rated around here. Probably better than this one. Probably maybe like right below this one. Right below here. Looks good. Very solid. God, there's so much. Anyway, this one is a pretty good icon. Probably top, high C tier. The parallax looking effect definitely works. This one just works. So probably gonna put it here. Right here. Probably a bit higher. Right there, bar behind colon. This icon is good, but bottom C tier. I just don't have a lot to say about these icons because they're just kind of self-explanatory at this point. So I'll probably put them around here. I'm gonna put him right around a bit lower than this. Hmm. Yeah, low C tier is kind of complicated here, so I'm gonna put in my. It looks like a better version of this one. Now that I think about it. But what did I do? Um, right, this icon I just got it a couple months ago. C tier, D tier, like around here it was. Okay, this icon looks horrible. Around right behind Lenny, honestly, looks bad. This one looks good. It's high C tier, very solid icon. Well done. Probably like around here. Looks good. The triangles look good. It's not complicated. This one's like D tier icon. Looks good art wise, and it's a good achievement, definitely. But I don't think it's good as an icon, so I'm gonna read it around here, probably in front of the Batman. This one also looks weird. It's probably bottom D tier. It just feels kind of weird. Looks squid, but more compacted, and the circle in the middle looks kind of weird. So I'm gonna put it like right around here. This one is decent, but bottom C tier. It looks good. The effort is appreciated, but it just doesn't look good enough to be higher. I'm gonna put it like around there. This icon I've actually never seen in my life. What the hell is this? Um, I hope this. Yeah, I think this is definitely a solid icon. Not B tier or not high C tier, but low C tier, probably. They're gonna be like right behind these ones, right there, probably. Okay, this icon looks really solid. It's not too complicated and it's original. That's what matters. But it's still pretty meek and simple. So we're gonna wait after this one. Maybe after this one. Yeah, I see it there. This one's a bit weird. It's like kind of like a other iteration of this one. This one is definitely a superior version of the three. So maybe not. This one feels kind of better in terms. Yeah, it's probably the worst one. I don't think it's better to the worst. Yeah, it's just worse because this one feels a bit too solid when I look at it. It just feels like a bit too compact and a bit heavy on icon. So yeah, this one is good. This one, it's a good icon. It's solid, like medium mid C tier, mid basically. Yeah. Not to say about this one. Right behind this one. This feels like it should be. This icon looks kind of D tier, in my opinion. This one looks like it should be like high D tier, not very high, like right there. This one probably this might be the one with the glow. So if it is, C tier. We gotta put it more besides this one higher, just in case. And this icon looks I've never seen in my life. Man, I've never seen none of these icons. This icon looks actually kind of solid. It looks rather good, and it might even be considered for this one. But it looks kind of unsatisfying. So you're gonna have to rate it low C tier, like mid C tier, probably like around here, around here, maybe. Yeah, it's good. I think it has like some glow, like some changes. But it looks kind of weird. This one is also kind of goofy looking, but in a better way on the finger dash looking one. Probably gonna be like C tier, high C tier. It's goofy looking, but in an annoying way. So I'm gonna rate it right around colon. Colon's a little bit better. That's multiple second, I think. This one is like low C tier simply because it just looks like a bit too heavy of an icon. The art is good, it's well executed, but it's a bit too heavy. Put it around here. This one looks kind of weird. This one looks kind of weird, honestly. It looks like D tier, like bottom D tier. This one looks like E tier. Just looks bad. I'm not too allowed to say it, but this one's the better of the three that I just got in a row. This one's probably the better. I'm gonna put him like around here because it's a good angry looking icon. It looks kind of angry looking, but around here. This icon right here is trash. Just kidding. So this icon right here is just meh. Bottom C tier. Maybe even top D tier. This icon is definitely uh bottom C tier, but it looks better on the other one, but it doesn't look great. So I'm gonna put it around there. Okay, we got into the cute ones. There in a row. So this one, so weird. Like around here probably. It's kind of weird as an icon. Right, the most overused icon in Geometry Dash. Universe icon. I'm gonna go simply strictly design wise. It's gonna be hard for me. um, it's a cat. What can I say? It looks good. Should be a cat. It looks good icon. Well executed. Click here. Right. Right. I don't know if it's better than Cold. I'm trying not to be biased here. Oh my god. But it just like from the sound standpoint, this one's definitely be better. But it's just so bland to me at this point that I can't rate it any higher. So I don't know how to feel. I'm gonna put him right there in between these two. Just just right in between the two Mopen and Corn. If that's Mopen, I'm not sure. So yeah, this one it's also probably kind of bad. I don't want to feel bad, but I'm gonna put it in E tier. Like his view looks kind of weird, kind of bland, kind of good art wise. But yeah, this one's also like D tier, bottom D tier, right around better than this one. This Kirby looking one definitely is the better of these ones, but it's still not high because it just doesn't look good. It actually looks too realistic. So like high here, better than the Iron Man one. Actually, right below Iron Man. This one's a good one. This one's a really good one. I think yeah, this is Red Star's icon definitely. He's a unpopular. You should probably follow him. Actually, he's a really good YouTuber. He makes streams, over request streams, and he also makes videos. He's really good at the game. Not really, really, really good at the game, but he's really insane demons. So it's pretty good. So this is definitely a slot icon. Is it B tier material? Not really. Is it C tier material? Yes, probably. Put him like a right behind. High C tier. This one looks goofy. He's gonna put him like around here. It looks like a joke, honestly. Right there. This one's Dansman's icon. It looks good from a like a visual standpoint. It looks decent, but definitely low C tier, like around here or behind that one. This doesn't look really really good. This one's like the same, honestly. You look at it the same. It's kind of backwards, but I think it's a bit worse because the eyes look so weird. Kind of almost like that. Okay. Like low C tier. This one, let's just Jimmy San, honestly. Oh, he's a wheat. No, shut up, bro. It's just a Spanish joke. Anyway, uh, it has glow. It has such a bit shape, so I'm gonna put him like C tier, like the bottom C tier, like around here, like low C tier, like around. See this one. This one, the best icon. Anyways, I'm gonna put him like C tier, high C tier. It looks really good, but you see later why I don't think it's too high because it got a bit overdone later. Like around here. Oh, this one, I think this one looks better. This one looks better. This one looks rather bland. I'll put him around here. This is Aeon's icon, if I believe. It looks good, like a little monster, like a little creature. It's really a good icon, probably mid C tier, honestly. Maybe a bit higher than that, like this. All the YouTubers are here in a row, man. Um, this one looked good, but it feels like a bit of a copy of the earlier original Pioneer of Looking to the Right. I know a lot of these other icons after rewards look to the right as well. But this one looks like like a cheap bargain. It looks good. Actually, might not rate it higher than the original. I don't know, but it's just kind of weird. It's definitely a good icon though, so I'm gonna rate it C tier, like around here, probably like right in between these. This one, my God, I can't find. There we go. There. Okay, this one is really solid. By solid, I mean heavy. Like heavy, I got something. I put it right on almost bottom. It looks weird. What the hell? Did you just copy the same icon? Did you just copy the same icon? I am pretty sure. Yeah, it looks almost the same. It just looks like a bit more shady. It looks worse. It looks worse. It looks like he's about to die. He looks like he has insomnia. I'm gonna put him in there, I guess. This one looks better. This one looks kind of bad. This one is okay, but it feels like his flesh is being ripped apart. So, yeah, kind of cursed. So I'm gonna put him in like C tier, probably like around. It looks okay though. It's a good icon. I'm gonna put like bottom, like a low C tier, like around, yeah, but worse than damn. So it's like right there. This one is a good icon. How good? High C tier good. It's good. It's a good icon. It's a good icon. It's just good. Smithy's icon. It looks like a demon cat. Not a bad thing. It looks kind of weird though, so I'm gonna put it like a C tier. Like low C tier. Right. This looks interesting. It's definitely good artistic wise, but definitely like high C tier. Probably the best D tier. I'm gonna put it right there. This one's too heavy, but man, oh man, oh, this art is kind of good. So I'm gonna give him some redeeming factor and put him like around here. This one looks good. It looks like something you get after beating deadlocked or for beating deadlocked. Or when you're a Spanish kid, when you're trying to beat deadlocked. So I'm gonna put him right around here, probably high D tier. This one is a bit good, but a bit solid as well. So I'm gonna put it like right around. It looks good with correct colors though, so I'm gonna put him like around here. If you execute it right, it can be good. This looks like an eye. I don't know if people have noticed this, but this one looks like an eye to you. This the eye. It looks good to play with if you ignore the eye. So I'll put him like around here. It's like a solid icon or something. But this Pharaoh is decent. Probably like C tier. Yeah, probably like high C tier, like around here. Okay, hear me out. This icon is one of the best icons. What? Not the best, but a B tier best. Probably like here. Honestly. It just looks satisfying. It's not too complicated, but it's satisfying. This one's high C tier. These are some really good icons coming up right here. So I think this is not that hard to explain. It's just C tier. It just looks good. Probably like here. This one looks decent, like an eye again, but a bit different. So I think it's better than the eye. So I'm gonna put them right around here. So I'm gonna put them in front of these ones. This one is probably top C tier, simply because it just looks good. It's a combination of the two eyes, and that makes it look better. So I'm gonna put them like right around here. The empty parts inside of it, added onto the more complex segments, definitely feel like it's latching on something. God, this is taking forever. Anyways, this is a Jonathan GD's icon, I believe. It's a good icon. It looks like a flower, but it's definitely the mid icon. Nothing special though. Put them like around here, separating the YouTuber. Actually, I guess you consider him a YouTuber. This one, I think it's someone's. I don't remember who. I don't remember who. Honestly. So this icon looks kind of meh. Its spitting eyes look kind of weird. Probably like, yeah, I'm gonna put him in D tier because it just looks kind of weird. The eyes. Oh my god, abomination. Hey yo, this is my icon. Finally. Okay. B tier. Oh, it looks decent. Better than this one. And probably this one. This one. Yeah, right there. I'm not gonna rate it any higher than that because I have some bias, obviously. But Yeah, right there. Not only for that. You gotta have to admit, it does look pretty, like a sailor's icon. But it's just, an average icon, honestly. Not average, average, just a good icon, but a good average icon. So, you know what I mean. Like, out of the good ones, it's definitely one of the average of the good ones. Nothing too good to be 80. Not too good to be higher than what it is right now. These ones are better and more solid icons. This icon looks kind of weird. It definitely belongs in the C tier because it has some complexity. But I'm gonna put him right around here, right there. This icon looks like a bit. There's so many eye-looking icons right now that I can't remember which one I'm talking about. It looks like around, like low C tier. This one is decent, but it's just not good. So I'm gonna put him in the bottom C tier. Vipern's icon. Controversial, but Vipern's icon looks pretty good. He chose a good icon. So good for him. So this icon right here, it's gonna be B tier. It's probably like around here. It looks good. It looks really good. Maybe be A tier. Yeah, let's put him A tier right around there. He just looks really solid. All right, this icon right here looks kind of bad, so I'm gonna put it in D here. It doesn't look that bad, but it looks weird. And I definitely wouldn't play with this kind of icon, so I'm gonna put him right there. This one looks like it's somebody like a robot, a cyborg on drugs. So I'm gonna put him right around where he belongs to be. Probably like high D tier. Actually, maybe C tier. Mid C tier. Low C tier. Yeah, a bit lower than that. There. Okay. This icon is solid. High C tier icon. Probably like around here, honestly. It looks really decent. Maybe even better than this one. This nail icon. It looks fantastic, honestly. Nothing special, but it's definitely deserves to be relatively high C tier. So I'm gonna put him around here. This one looks a bit solid, a bit heavy. So I'm gonna put him low C tier, around right there. And this one looks worse, so I'm gonna put him D tier. Like bottom, like high D tier. Like around there. And this one looks like the best of those. It has more complexity, so I like that. So I'm gonna put him mid C tier, around here. Okay, this is a good icon. How good? Probably like B tier. Good. And here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. And this is probably only gonna be kind of hypocritical. And I know you might be saying that, thinking that to yourself. But this is probably the highest you can get to be B tier. It's a really solid icon, but still not good enough to be A tier. This one looks kind of meh. Some people like it, but I personally don't think it's good. It's Sub-Zero. It's press on. But I don't think it's good. So I'm gonna put him like low uh C tier. This one looks meh, so I'm gonna put him in D tier. This one looks decent, so I'm gonna put him in C tier. Probably like mid C tier, actually. Right around here, C tier. Yep. This one looks kind of trash, so I'm gonna put him in E tier, like around there. This one looks decent, so this one's probably gonna be high C tier. Not too high, like middle C tier, but less C tier. Like around here, and this one just looks kind of like a ripoff of Batman. Those are all the icons. Wait, wait a second. I didn't put an S one. Really, there's not an S icon. No icon is perfect enough to be S tier. Usually in other things, S means, like, oh, this icon, this thing is really good. Oh, this thing is too good. So good that it might even need to be, like, nerfed or buffed or whatever, depending on the game you're using. And the game you're trying to make a ranking of. But, nonetheless, it's still a decent icon. It's still a decent thing. And I think that this shouldn't be S tier. The only contestants I'd be having for S tier will be discussed on a separate video. If you want to watch that bonus separate video, just make sure to leave a comment below. Otherwise, that's been it for today. I filmed all of this in a row, so you might notice that the voice or my interests or dedication to my role changed over time because one, the spaces in between are to drink water, and I have drink it once in a while, so I don't talk in a row, in a row, in a row, in a row, in a row. Two, I've been talking for almost like 1 hour probably, so that's not to control my voice. And three, I also have to make this last a reasonable amount of time. The video will probably be like 4 minutes long per part, so expect like 30 parts. No, it's only gonna be like maybe like 6-7 minutes, honestly. I don't want to make 10 minutes or 11 minutes because people will probably skip out by a 6 minute mark. So I'm gonna put like 6 minutes, 7 minutes, so they can just watch that and then go from the next part to the next part to the next part to the next part. 4 minutes feel like a bit too short, and 7 minutes still feels too short. So 6 or 7, 6:30, 6:40 minutes is probably the best option for you to go to. If you like the series, make sure to subscribe, of course. And if you heard this entire outro, then leave a comment saying, um, nice. No, actually, never mind. I don't know, say something. Say something, okay, keyword. Okay, the keyword is just keyword. It's just type keyword, and you'll get a heart. The first person to do it might even get a pin. Who knows? Alright, that's it for today. Appreciate your assistance. So, thanks for being through this entire session. I'm gonna give you one last look into the icon set. And that's it. Hopefully you had a good day. Thanks for watching my videos. And I'll be seeing you the next time I make one of these, which might not be in a while. Dedication takes time to build. See you next time, and good day, / good night, / good afternoon, / whatever time it is. Even if you're in space watching this, which I doubt, but even if you're in space watching this, good times, I guess. Good time.